Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it's myself, Lewis Miller. Tonight, I'm joined with Gordy. How are you tonight? Gordy?
Hi everyone. Hi Lewis. Hi Si. Hope we're all well.
Hi guys, I'm just
all
going
right.
to do the admin tonight, so I'll leave it to you and Lewis to host it, and we might be joined by Davy Walters in a minute from the Perth True Blues. So I'll leave it to you guys. I'll give you two subjects you can talk about.
Good.
We can repeat ourselves and talk about Saturday's game at the weekend, where we'll just be talking about the same stuff, or we can pretend it all didn't happen and talk about Thursday night. I know what I would rather use. 2 seconds, guys. Hello, we're going to bring in Davy Walters. Hi, Davy.
Hi, Simon.
Evening, David.
Hi, how you doing, mate? I've got Gordy and
I'm all good.
Walters in it. Hi, how you doing, mate? So we're live on Gers TV. The guys are doing the commentary tonight. I'm doing the admin, so you won't see me. And I think we're going to talk about the European game. I'll bring it over to you guys.
Okay, well, just before we get started, just want to say I was over in Belfast at the weekend there for Lewis Crocker's fight against Paddy Donovan. I just want to say a big shout out to the KOB Supporters Club again, based in Sandy Row. Unfortunately, because of the timings and the fight, etc., didn't get a chance to do any interviews, but everyone made me feel very, very welcome again. I just want to say a big shout out to Sam and Daryl and Serge and all the guys at the KOB Club in Sandy Row in Belfast. And you're all watching, so thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it again.
Right, nice one. Anyways, troops, let's forget that Saturday never happened. Let's talk about Thursday. Fenerbahce game. What's your thoughts on it, guys?
I think we should at least maybe pay a bit of reference to Saturday's game, Lewis. I mean, it was an important game, and obviously for all the wrong reasons. But we can just move on to Fenerbahce if you want.
Aye, well, from my mental status, I think we're better moving on to the Fenerbahce game. I'd rather not talk about Saturday, if I'm being honest with you.
Right, I tell you what. Why don't we start with Fenerbahce then? Look ahead, be positive, then we can come back maybe towards the end and recap then, right? Because we need something to look forward to. So, well, I don't know if I can look forward to it or not. I think Jose Mourinho watched our last two games, losing the first couple of goals against Kilmarnock and then Motherwell, and be licking his lips with glee, to be perfectly honest. I think we're in a bit of a bad way. That said, we have overperformed in Europe this season, and I'm just hoping that we can again reach inside ourselves to a Thursday night and produce a good performance. All I really hope for on Thursday night at 8 o'clock is to still be in the tie, going back to Ibrox in a week's time.
Yep, certainly. I think with a game like this, it's actually quite hard to tell the way that Jose Mourinho's going to play, because of course everyone knows him for his part the bus style of football, but recently at Fenerbahce he's sort of developed new styles of play. He's sort of rotated for different formations from a 3-4-1-2 to a 4-4-2, a 4-2-3-1. You've got to kind of expect the unexpected. You'd like to think that Jose Mourinho would fancy his chances, especially considering their recent form. Even performances such against Kilmarnock in the first 30 minutes, performances against Motherwell and even Queen's Park, St Mirren, etc. He's got to be licking his lips looking at this, as you said, Gordy.
Yeah. Davey?
You just got to hope these Thursday nights continue, because, I mean, they'll be good for us this year against, a season in the Scottish Premiership that's been pretty hopeless, to be honest. But, Thursday night seems to be our night, so we just got to hope we turn up again.
Yeah, a good point. And then just go back to what Lewis said. I think recently, I mean, I don't know about the quality of opposition, but I'm sure Fenerbahce won 5-0 at the weekend there. So I couldn't comment on the quality of opposition. I think they're still 6 points off the top, 6 points behind Galatasaray, but they seem to be in good form. They did draw. Yeah, they did draw away from home at Galatasaray last Monday. Mourinho has been banned for 4 matches. He's been accused of racist comments. Yep. I don't want to get too much involved in that, because that could open a big can of worms. But yeah, I mean, obviously we know Turkey has got a passionate, fierce atmosphere, etc. So I think we're all thinking the same at the moment. Then just to kind of sum up, I think we're all thinking that Fenerbahce are favourites for the tie. Then, yeah.
Yeah, you would like, looking at our recent form, you'd like to think so. As you said, Gordy, see that ban with Jose Mourinho. Do you know if it's just a ban in the Turkish league, or if it's just domestic ban?
It's just domestic, okay. I'm sure, yeah.
So I'm still getting to see Jose Mourinho at Ibrox.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, so, I mean, I right now, as Davies said, as we've said as well, Thursday nights, there's something special about a Thursday night. Do you guys have any confidence for Thursday at all? Based on, based on the performance against, Spurs, Man United, even USG, Olympiacos away, Nice away from home, even going back to the very first game, Malmo away. Can we draw on those performances for Thursday, or as a recent form, we laid that? What do you think?
I think we're far better when we play teams that are open against us. But when we play teams with 10 men behind the ball, we just can't seem to break them down. And I think in Scottish football, all the teams, and certainly in the Premiership, know how to play against us. And the previous manager, I think, had set up his team for European games, but it just didn't work in the Scottish game, unfortunately. So I've got confidence of us doing something in Europe. I mean, when you think about it, the only tie that we get completely beaten was the Lyon game. Even the Man United game, as much as Man United were dominant, we're still in the game. It's only really Lyon out of the six games we played. 4 wins, 2 draws, and 2 defeats. So, I think in Europe we've done really well and we've competed really well. It's just the Scottish game, we just don't seem to have that mentality to break teams down. And you were hoping maybe with Barry coming in that maybe Scottish influence would kick on straight away, and it might do, and hopefully it will do, but just not seen it in the last couple of games, to be honest.
Yeah, just picking up from that, done some research, and we certainly seem to perform better in games that we don't have the ball as much, which is strange. As you said, David, we do struggle to break teams down, but it's strange because the counterbalance to that is, and I don't want to get involved in Philip Clement's arguments about stats and shots, etc. But we do create chances against these teams as well. Going back to some of the games we have, Dundee United, I think, we had 30 shots on goal, whatever. So I'm not necessarily think we're not breaking teams down as such. Or maybe we're just not getting the box. Can you put your finger on it, Davey or Lewis? What is the problem against these teams with the kind of low block? Because we are creating chances of having shots. What is the issue?
No,
I was listening to Alan McCoy the other day there, and he was basically saying that had he the service that some of our strikers were getting, he would score a barrel load of goals. It maybe is that we don't have a clinical striker that seems to be able to finish from some of the good play up until that point. But again, we just defensively give stuff away as well. We seem to be, sometimes defence is sleeping at times, and our goalkeeper's not been that great over the last few games either. So I don't know whether it's concentration. Some people would say it's just the quality. Yet when you go into Europe, you're seeing a different setup and a different display. So I'm just not sure. It's a Jekyll and Hyde. It seems to be at the moment.
Lewis, any thoughts on that, mate?
I think these players struggle to play against. I actually do think it's the fact that we struggle to play against a team that plays a low block. Because, as you said, Davey, we can perform against these sort of teams that press us, who come at us. That's why I actually do have a bit of confidence for this Thursday and the following Thursday as well. I've got a good bit of confidence, and I fancy our chances of qualifying, because as you said, Thursday nights are magical when it comes to Rangers. So
this is a crazy thing. I'm more confident for Thursday than I was on Saturday against Motherwell. I don't know why.
Aye. I wouldn't disagree with you, Si. I wouldn't disagree with you. I do think it is because we struggle to play against a low block team. At first I thought that was a Clement issue, but it seems to just be what to do with the players. But we've seen it with past managers as well, not even just Clement, but under Van Bronckhorst as well. We seem to perform a lot better in Europe than what we did domestically. So I think it's down to the mentality of the players.
Well, just to go back to what Davey was saying there, the goalkeeping errors, no manager in the world can set a team up, but when the goalkeeper throws the ball out like that, or catches the ball, whatever you want to call it, and the distribution's terrible, and the positional play of Jeffrey, they're all things that no manager can. Once you put the team out, you're hoping that they're going to play basic football. But we've got better players coming back. We've got Sterling coming back into the team, and Suter, and that will certainly make us stronger.
It looks as if Sterling, Suter and even Balogun might even be coming back into the team. I don't know about wee Conor Barron. I don't know anything about him. I don't know. I can't even remember if he was in the squad for Saturday or not. He might have
He
been
was.
injured.
I'm sure he was on the bench.
Was he on the bench? Was he on the bench? Right. Okay.
I think what's really frustrating for the fans is, and you know, we go week in and week out to see them, and is the players leaving everything on the park, and I'm not convinced they are, and that's the most disappointing thing. That's why fans are upset. Now, I've never booed at a Rangers team in my life. I've never walked to a stadium in my life, but you know, it is disappointing because if you're a supporter and you're paying top dollar, I mean, I posted something on my Facebook page the other day about the Bayern Munich situation where they're saying they don't charge a lot for a season ticket, a couple of hundred or less than 100, 200 euro, because they don't want to fleece the fans and they'll get their money elsewhere. But if fans don't see the players in the park giving everything that they've got and they're paying that top dollar for a kind of poor product, then, you know, I can understand why they voice their opinions. And then you turn up on a European night. I mean, the Tottenham game was electric. Fans were right behind them, and you know the team turned up, and the performance was great. So, you know, for me, it's a Jekyll and Hyde situation. I don't believe that team are a bad team. I don't think they put in every single effort every single week. That's just my opinion on it.
Yeah, I'll tend to agree with that, Davey. I think that it's clear they've got talent. You can't go away to places like Nice and Malmo and home against and Spurs and even Man United and maybe deserving to get a point for at Old Trafford without having something about you. I would also go back to the Leon game as well, where I'm pretty sure. I mean, I know Czerny missed an absolute open goal for 5 or 6 yards before they scored and went 2-0 up or whatever. So probably scored the first couple of goals. So even if Czerny scores up, we've got a chance against Leon at home. So I don't think so.
Dessers as well, missed right after him.
Yeah, that's right. And you actually said the exact same comment last week. I mentioned this as well, so I should have remembered. So basically, yeah. I mean, I don't doubt for 1 second that teams get talent. I think that individually we've got some decent players, but I think there's a motive. I do think it's genuine motivation, and I think that, you know, going back to Gio, it's been a couple of years now. Maybe these players just want to perform in Europe. I don't know, but it's Jekyll. It's so hard. It's frustrating as hell because we can't put our fingers on it. But as you guys have all said, we've got a chance on Thursday because out of nowhere sometimes we pull a performance out of Europe.
True.
Yeah, Gordy, you pretty much took the words right out of my mouth. There's lots of talent in that team, and you can't disagree with that because, as you said, the results that we pulled off in Europe are magnificent. As much as we lost away to Man United, the performance was exceptional. Performance against Tottenham, Malmo, Nice, teams like this, not easy teams to beat, by the way. And we go out there and we play out our skin pretty much. Some of the best performances you've seen for Rangers since probably the Europa League season when we went to Seville. But I think it is just down to the mentality. These players, like, and the fact that the fans as well. Right, what? Sorry, I'm starting a wee bit. My mind's a wee bit gone today. I
don't blame you, Lou. I don't blame you with the last few weeks at Rangers. To be honest, it was everyone's mind.
So my mind's been gone the last couple of weeks or so. Anyways, I take Dessers for example. 1 week the fans love him, the second week the fans want to see it in a play. Like, we need to get behind these players. I think
it must be difficult for a player, like a couple of players. So, say for example, we take Tav and we take Dessers, right? Lewis, you're right. There is a kind of love-hate relationship with these players. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. In my family group chats and mates group chats and whatnot, I do slate Dessers a lot of the time, right, throughout the game. Then by the end of the game, I'm loving him. It's just frustrating because if you go back and watch every Rangers game, the last 10 Rangers games, I'm sure Dessers had missed at least one chance for 3 yards out or 4 yards out. Right?
Aye, well,
and
just Dessers for you.
And you know, and he scored. I think he scored something like 25 goals this season. Like Dessers will probably score over 30 goals this season, and the fans, half the fans will hate him, and half the fans will love him.
Well, let me give you a stat, guys. Boy, you mentioned it, football the weekend. Iggyman hasn't scored in the last 9 games.
Well, I said that last week on this show, and I was criticised for criticising him. I was saying that Iggyman's lost some of his form, and I criticised him for it. But that's a fact. He hasn't scored in 8 or 9 games, and on 9 games tonight, as you say. I mean, if we're playing 2 up front, we need both strikers scoring goals.
Yeah.
I think it's ever since the sort of rumours of him going down south for what, up to 10 million or so. I think he's just gone since then. I think he's just let the rumours get to him a wee bit, I think.
I mean, he's still a young lad, and I think he had a kind of purple patch here, and then the last several games he's struggled a little bit. I liked it when him and Dessers seem to be hitting a kind of partnership, and I would like to see that back. But Dessers is the type of guy that frustrates you. He'll get you 2 or 3 goals, and his goal ratio is probably pretty decent. But you think about it, if he'd taken half the chances he got, he'd be he'd probably worth 20, 30 million, given the opportunities he's had to score goals. You know what I mean? That's the kind of crazy thing with this guy, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating for the fans. You're right. He's Marmite. Some can't stand him, some love him when he's scoring goals, but the amount of chances that guy gets in a game is quite frightening and frustrating, to be honest.
Anyways, Gordy, what do you have to say about that?
No, I mean, as I say, I've said the same things for about 1.5 years with Dessers. Like, every single game you watch him, he'll miss a chance between 3 and 5 yards, but just to keep up the beat. Same on Saturday. He scored a great goal against Kilmarnock as well. We missed a few chances in the first half against Kilmarnock. Again, from 4 or 5 yards. It's not like 10, 11, 12 yards each chance. It's literally 1-on-1 with the keeper from 4 yards, 5 yards, and it's every single week. If you look at a lot of his goals now, I'm not criticising for his goals, of course, because if you don't shoot, you don't score. But a lot of his goals go through the keeper's legs, under the keeper's arms, deflections off defenders, etc. You've got to put yourself in the position to shoot. But I do genuinely think that some of the Dessers missed chances has cost Clement his job. I go back to last season when we played Dundee and Ross County the space of 4 days, and Dessers missed 2 open goals for 4 or 5 yards in these games. But it is what it is. But he'll probably end up scoring a hat-trick on Thursday and that looks stupid. So, you know what I mean? So you can't win.
That's a good point. How are we going to set up, Jack? It's obviously Barry Ferguson's first European tie. Do you think he's going to try and basically damage limitation and make it hard to beat, or do you think he's going to go for it?
I think he should go back to the games against Man United away and Nice away, and if everyone's fit for those games, to go with that starting 11.
You know what? Fair enough. It'd be interesting to see if he lines up similar to Clement with her, goes out tactically a similar way, because I think, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say Clement shouldn't have been sacked or he should have been sacked. I'm not going to get onto that tonight, anyways. But I think if Clement was still in a job, I think we would have a lot of confidence going into a game like this, especially under a manager like that. Of course,
I agree.
But don't get me wrong, the fans were sick of him, and we struggled with him a lot of time, especially domestically. But the European form under Clement was exceptional, to be honest. It was very good, especially away from home.
I'm sure Barry will have done his research and looked at the previous games and probably done a lot of research in Fenerbahce as well, and be able to set up similar to what we've done in the past and how we combat some of the European styles. But as I say, if we can play similar to the way we've played in the last 6 games in Europe, I think we've got a chance.
I think in football you've always got a chance, but I just don't know. But obviously our management team isn't very experienced, so you have got to draw on the players' experience in Europe from the last couple of seasons. So you've got to hope that they find it within themselves to come up with a performance on Thursday night. Who would you start at the back? Would you bring back Balogun or Suter if they're fit? I mean, I think you've got to, really, haven't you?
If they're fit, 100%. I would absolutely not start proper. That's for sure. I would not start proper in a game like this.
Well, Proper get a heat knock as well. I don't know what. See the weekend, I'm not sure why Proper went off if it was a heat knock, because I thought Jeffrey should have been off before him. But he might
especially
not be fit the way your players have been this season.
Aye. I know. Well, Jeffrey's positioning fall. I can't remember if it was actually the first goal or the second goal. Was it? Aye. Anyways, Jeffrey's positioning for that goal was absolutely shocking, and we've found it before. We've seen his positioning. We've seen him so far out of position before. Even look at Man United's goal when we got the equaliser, and when Man United went on and scored that very, very much late winner.
League Cup semi-final, Andy Halliday, same again.
What's that, sorry?
And
The league-
and also Queen's Park as well.
Aye, so
And
it's quite
Queen's
a,
Park as well.
it's
Look,
quite a
it's-
common thing. And the reason for that, one of the reasons I would say, he's a young boy that's no learned, and it would be a good time to be dropping him anyway. And guys like Sterling and dare I say it, Balogun and Suter, if Suter's available, are essential to come back into the team. Because see if we lose 2 silly goals against them in the first 20 minutes, like we did against Motherwell, we're teased out.
100%. 100%. You know, yeah, I think we have to drop him, especially in a game like this. I know you said he is young. He is a young boy, but if a mistake's made more than once, then it's no longer a mistake. I think that's something he really needs to work on his positioning, because that's at least 2-3 times he's caught out of position. He's caught in the middle of the park, sleeping whilst there's players out left, basically attacking the space and going through and even scoring for it.
So do you bring in? You bring in Ridvan or do you bring back Sterling?
I don't know if
I don't
I don't actually know if Ridvan's fit for the game or not.
Oh,
I would
he's
put in
come on.
Sterling.
I mean, he certainly came on He certainly came on in the second half in Kilmarnock. So I
Oh,
mean,
aye, so he did, aye. So he
that was
did.
2 weeks. That's going to be 2 weeks ago. That'll be 2 weeks since that game or whatever. So he certainly is. He might not be match fit, but he's certainly capable of playing. Or you risk it, bring back Sterling as maybe not a natural left back. More of a right back central defender, Sterling. So do you bring back Ridvan or do you risk it with Jeffy for his attacking options?
Well, if I remember right, I'm pretty sure Ridvan went out on the right hand side and Jeffy still stayed on the left hand side. Then we moved Tav into the centre of the park. I think that's the way. If we don't drop Jeffy, I think that's the way we have to go out. I think Tavernier in the middle of the park is.
Oh, can I just say this right now? If we've got Ridvan at right back, Tav in the centre, and Jeffy at left back, we'll get beat 5 or 6 now on Thursday night. I'm just going to put that out here right now.
No, in the middle of the park. Sorry, by the way, just going back.
Middle defence.
Centre back. No, middle of defence.
Aye.
No middle of the park. My bad.
Right. Well, I'm sorry. Right. I hate being a prophet of doom and that, but if we go with 3 of those three out of the back 4 with those taking those positions, then we'll get absolutely slaughtered on Thursday night. That's just my opinion. To be perfectly honest, I'm probably going to be wrong, and I don't mind saying it. But if we go with Tav in the centre defence, Redman at right back, and Jeff Day at left back, then I can see us getting absolutely slaughtered on Thursday.
Davey?
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. Yeah, I mean, defence is. I mean, I would clear it out in the summer. I would have a complete new defence in there in the summer than what we've got at the moment. But we need to play with the hand we've got, and if Balogun, is fit, I would certainly have him back in without a doubt. I think he brings a lot of strength and a lot of composure in the ball. Jeffy for me over Ridvan. I just think the wee man hit the ground running when he first came here, but I think he's been really weak. His distribution's poor. I'd rather see Jeffy in there. I think he offers a bit more. He's not ideal, to be honest, but he probably offers more than Ridvan.
Okay, interesting. Lewis?
I mean, fair enough. I do have to disagree with you. I don't think we'll go out and get absolutely battered if we line up like that. Look, as much as it's been games against weaker opposition we've played that. I mean, look at the game against Celtic. Like, of course that was a good while ago. That was about just over 2 months ago now. But we played Ridvan at right back and played out his skin. Of course we never had Tavernier that game, but the games that we've seen Tavernier at the centre defence, Man United away, he's performed well. And I don't think he has the pace to perform at right back anymore. I don't think he can deal with that. I think if Fenerbahce do fancy their chances and they do attack, we do send Tadic on Tavernier's side. Well, if he does play it right back, if do send Tadic on the left hand side. What's that?
They might play Tavernier in the middle again.
Aye, that's what I'm saying.
That's what we're saying, right? So I don't disagree that in individual performances with one of these people playing in these positions, we've done okay, right? What I'm saying is, if you combine all 3 of them in the one night and out of position, part of the Jeffy, right? If you're playing a right back at left back and you're playing a natural right winger, stroke right defender at centre back, and then playing attacking left back at left back, all in the one game against a really good team who've got really attacking players, then that I'm arguing that's what all those factors will combine. I'm not saying that individually. I'm not saying we couldn't play Sterling at left back and Tav in the centre and then Jeffy on the left, right? I'm not saying that. I'm saying if we combine those 3 components there into one on Thursday night, that's what leads to us getting beat 4 or 5-0, just in my opinion. Okay, so I'm not saying we couldn't play Tavernier at centre back if Sterling was playing at left back, or sorry, right back, and Jetty was on the left. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if we combine those three decisions into one on Thursday night, with Tab in the centre, Redman on the right, and Jetty on the left, then I fear what would happen. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. I do see what you're saying.
I think the
Who
big one
plays
for
up-
me
who-
is no making the mistakes. See the silly mistakes, they need to be cut out for one. We need to ride with luck a wee bit. I know what Gordy's going to mention about up front, but the game's going to be won or lost in the midfield probably. And at the weekend, I felt there was a big hole in the middle of midfield. I didn't like the way the team was set up at all.
Okay, do you want to expand on that? What would you, if you were in charge on Thursday night, then, mate? Who do you start middle of the park?
Well, my problem is if you're going to play a player like Diamondi, then you need to play low balls to him and make him dominate the midfield. Playing a high ball over him just completely brings him out of the game. I just feel as if there was a massive gap in the midfield, and that's how Motherwell dominated us. And a team like Fenerbahce, where Mourinho was the manager, they would have seen that and they would easily play that to our weakness.
Okay. Davey, any thoughts?
I think Hadji could be a difference for us. You know, certainly from what he was doing probably the last few months. I think we've missed somebody like that creative in the midfield. I was just glad he was back, and I'm glad he's now part of the European setup. But he'd be the main man for me in the midfield, and I think by all accounts, Barry Ferguson rates him quite highly as well. So he could be the difference, I think, on the night.
So I think that Barry will revert to one up front in Thursday night. I can't see us at all playing with two up front. So that means that probably one of Egeman or Dessers has to drop out. Who would you start up front, Lewis?
Who would I start up front?
If that is the case,
I think he will pick Dessers 100%. I would believe he'll pick Dessers. But who would I play up front? I don't know. It's a tough one. Mate.
Davey?
I would pick Dessers, and I think he'll pick Dessers, only if it's one up front. If he plays two up front, then that'll be an interesting. I think Fenerbahce will think he'll only play one up front, so he might call their bluff. Be interesting to see if he does. But I think if he's got a choice of one, he'll probably pick Dessers. I think he offers more in terms of getting about the place, annoying defenders. That's what I think he might do.
Okay, interesting. I would tend to agree with both of you there. Yeah, I mean, personally, I think he will go one up front on Thursday night, and I think it will be Dessers, possibly Egeman coming on for the last kind of 15-20 minutes or so. But Hadji, I agree with that as well. I think Hadji could be a main player on Thursday night. I don't think he did a particularly good game on Saturday against Motherwell. I think he looked quite frustrated actually at times. But he could, again, he's one of these players that does perform in Europe. You think back to the magical night against Braga at Ibrox, where he scored those 2 goals and took us through. So he is capable of it, of course. But then, you play Raskin, you play Diomande. Who else do you play in the middle? You play Czerny in the left, Hadji in the right, and then Diomande, Raskin, and somebody else in the middle.
I think that he'll change a bit, as we spoke about a minute ago. He'll definitely change the defence, but I don't think the midfield will change much. I just think it's the way he sets up is a big thing for me. And Dessers, without a doubt, should be playing up front because whether we like it or not, he's our best striker.
Yeah, no, tend to agree.
I think Czerny and Hadji are certs to be in the midfield. The third one's is debatable who you would put in there, but certainly for me, Czerny and Hadji are definites.
Do you bring back Tom Lawrence
No.
for a game like this?
At all.
No, don't think so. Be interesting to see if he does, but that'd be a bit. Don't know. I don't think he will though.
No, I don't think he's made. He's never seems to be fully fit, to be honest, and he's very slow. I just wouldn't do it. The team that we played in the last 2 weeks has been shocking, but if we can fix the defence, then the rest of it will probably be similar.
Interesting. Predictions then. Lewis, give us your prediction.
I do believe a 1 each draw or a 2 each draw over there.
Davey?
I can probably see us getting beat, but maybe 2-1. I think I'd take that and get them back at Ibrox. I think it could be a great night back there.
Okay, I was going to go. I was going to play it a wee bit safe and go for 2-1. I'm going to change that though and go. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think Rangers are definitely capable of scoring away from home on a Thursday night. But I can see our defence letting ourselves down a lot. But so I'm going to say 3-2 to Fenerbahce, and then it's all to play for at Ibrox next week. Simon?
1 each. I think it'll be 1 each. I think it'll be a tight game. Rangers will have to be tight at the back. We know that. I think 1 each is the score.
Okay.
So guys, 10 minutes to go. We'll try and do a 45 minutes show. And I'm thinking, let's talk about America.
Well, that's a bit vague. That's a very big topic, Simon.
It's all right. We're not going to be talking about wars or anything like that. We're going to be talking about 49ers.
Right, okay. That's
looks
a lot
good
better
now.
then.
It does look good now, guys. I think it's more or less all down to due diligence. And whatever anybody thinks about the board, I think we would all agree that the club needed a fresh investment and we needed a change at board level.
Yeah, I was coming quickly about the due diligence. I mean, I think that if you're doing due diligence at Rangers with the boardroom and the shares and the setup there, I think a few things might be uncovered in the next couple of months. To be perfectly honest, it's hard to put my finger on it, but I just don't think there's something not quite right in the setup at Ibrox right now. But hopefully, I'll be proved wrong.
Davey?
I think it's exciting times. I mean, ideally, I would have loved a sugar daddy who's a Rangers diehard, who's got Rangers blood through in their veins. Unfortunately, we've not got that. So the next thing you're hoping is somebody who wants to put some big money in and help the club out. And it looks like we've potentially got that. I see Leeds flying at the top of the championship at the moment. Well, that's the impact that they've had or not, I don't know. But certainly Leeds are flying high at the moment. And if we can replicate that in Scotland, I think we'll be in a good place. It needs to change because, we went through, several managers now, and, you go back to Van Bronckhorst, you wonder if we'd have given him a bit more time, would it have been okay? I don't know. It's a hypothetical question, but, things need to change. I think we need a better direction from the board. A big question for me is we've got a super academy there, and yet we don't bring any young players through. If I was in Barry Ferguson's shoes in the league now, I'd be playing some of these young people. Let's see what the young talent is we've got out there to be bringing forward. And hopefully with this, the new regime coming in, we'll have maybe players from other interests that they've got as well coming up and some top talent coming through. But, I think we need to have a look at our academy. We spend a lot of money on it, and yet we are bringing very few young players through. Look at that young centre-half at Kilmarnock there, probably one of the best centre-halves, and we let them go. So you've got to ask the question, why are some of these young people not getting through and given an opportunity,
Is that Lewis Mayo you're speaking about?
Yeah.
Right, okay, yeah. I tend to agree. We also let somebody else go to Exeter. He's playing very, very well, but lots of things as well. Can't remember his name at the top of my head, but it will come back to me. It will come back to me.
Yvonne, how do you pronounce it? The
Yeah.
Dreadlocks? Aye.
Yeah, it'll come back.
If Echo, he's only on loan at Exeter. He's only on
Right,
loan.
he's on loan, right. But
Aye, but they've got an option to buy.
If Echo,
Yeah.
aye.
If
Is there an
Echo.
option to buy? Right, okay.
So yeah, two young set of defenders, and you look at NCR coming in, and you think to yourself, well, would it not be better to bring these? Could these guys not done a job for us in reserve at least, and then play these games and be better than in Salah? Who knows? We don't know. That's unfortunate about that. But I think David's made a good point. I asked the question last week when Barry's first game in charge, does he play the youngsters? And I think we all kind of agreed that he should go with the tried and tested to try and get results. But I think we're at the stage now where in the league we can't really get any worse. So give them the opportunity.
Yep.
Well, it must be exciting for young guys to be signed up by Rangers, But if I'm a young talent at the moment and I'm thinking, should I join Rangers? And I look at, who's progressed through the academy? And it's virtually no one. So why would I go to Rangers? Why would I not try and go to another club where I've got more of an opportunity to come through? So unless we start bringing these young people through, we're not going to attract them to the academies and get them to stay. You look back to the Durants and the Fergusons and the great talent of the young kids that we had coming through at that time. that might be the future. It certainly should be an opportunity that Barry should take at the moment and play some of these youngsters and see if they've got the calibre to play in the Premier League.
So just touching on that, Davey, what's your thoughts on the fact that the American owners are going to come in, right? And it looks like by the start of the season, to everybody, what do you think is going to happen regarding management and recruitment? Do you think they're going to go down an American style or a European, or will they stick to Scottish?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Because we need change.
I know I've said this before, but we can't get too far ahead of ourselves with American investors, because look, certain teams it has worked, and it is working to an extent with Leeds United. Don't get me wrong, like, they've got a quality starting lineup and just a quality squad in general, and you would hope that they'd fly in a league like that, the Championship. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to downplay it. It's a competitive league, it's a tough league, but with the calibre of players that Leeds United have, you would hope that they'd fly in that league. So I don't really think you can judge how the American investors are going to be with us, with how they are with Leeds, because it's two very, very different situations.
But I think the point with that is, will they have they allowed the investment in the squad down there to challenge for the league titles? So have they given the resources to the manager in wages and in squad depth and quality to fund that to fund the league challenge if they have? So I could be wrong. I don't want to speak for David, but that could have been the point he was making. The honest answer is I don't know. I've not looked into it. So. But I think we have to find a manager and start with him. I think we have to find a good. All's going to come down to a manager that can cut it. Our last few appointments have been worked out poor. Gio was sacked, Beale was sacked, Clement sacked. That's 3 managers in a row, and managers will be looking at that and going, "Don't know if I fancy that, to be honest. I'll be sacked after a year, after 18 months." We've got to find a talented manager who has experience in signing younger players and developing them. I look at the guy Knutson at Bodo Glimt, and I think he's ideal. But I think it all starts with appointing that quality manager. And I think Davey hit the nail on the head earlier. I would argue that not only the defence, but I think a lot of the team needs to be cleared out.
Davey?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I mean, it's one of these situations, you know. You want a top class manager to come in who's going to attract good players, but do we have the funds? Is the funds going to be available for them to get those good players, or is it somebody you're going to be looking for to do well in Scottish football? And that would be somebody local, then, wouldn't it? It would be somebody who has got a Scottish background that would come in and do that. I'm not convinced foreign managers are the answer for us, and or. I would more stick to a British manager. I'd like to see a British manager coming in to sort us out in the domestic game, and if we do well in Europe at the start, even better. But domestic's got to come first, because if we get in the Champions League, we will attract better players. There's no doubt about it. So it's a very difficult one. I want a top manager, but also want somebody that's going to come in and know the Scottish game. Because Clement was doing a decent job where he was coming from. Van Bronckhorst came with a good record. Beale, I think, was just a wrong appointment. I think all this myth that he was the man behind Gerrard and is probably not factual. But do we want Gerrard back? I personally don't, and it's not for any reason I don't like Gerrard, but I just think we can't get back again. I know it worked with Walter Smith, but I just don't see us going back to the previous manager before. I'd like to see somebody new coming in, somebody with a bit of knowledge of Scottish football, get us back winning domestic league titles again.
The problem with bringing, and I tend to agree with not bringing Gerrard back, because the problem we might have is do we go out, do we help him out and he signs 4 or 5 players, and then a year and a half time we don't give him enough money again, does he then quit again or go somewhere else again? And I don't think he's been particularly successful in his managerial career since leaving Rangers as well. So I don't know. I think that Gerrard was great at the time, but I like Davey. I tend to disagree with bringing him back, because I think we need that fresh start, and a new manager will have no baggage, no kind of previous connections to the club, and he wouldn't hesitate, I don't think, in having a bit of a clear out and bringing in some fresh faces. But as it's like in times, it is positive. The last few months we have lacked positivity, so it is great. to have something to look forward to. And
It definitely
you
had to
know,
happen. It's one of the ones that the club couldn't carry on the way it was. The atmosphere's been toxic recently.
it is, mate, and it's terrible because I mean I'll go back to the game against Kilmarnock in the first half hour. I don't think I've ever witnessed a first half hour like that in my life watching Rangers, to be honest. And I'm not as young as I used to be, so that says a lot. But it is something to look forward to, and it keeps us talking for the next few months about what the possibilities are and who's going to be the manager, and it gets the debate going again. So it gives us, it's obviously a bit of excitement. It gives us something to look forward to. And in football, you always need that hope.
Definitely.
Aye. Like I would love to see a top draw manager come in, as previously said. But I can't remember who it was, if it was one of yous. But I would love to see a top draw manager come in, but I don't think they're no manager's going to look at their squad and their situation and be like, aye, I want a piece of that. Absolutely not a top draw manager, anyways.
Another point on that, just as Lewis is saying it, is the fact that a manager coming in, it's not going to be a quick fix. It's the Alex Kelly's spoken about this a few times, and he's mentioning the financial fair play structure. We can't just start buying hundreds of big players. It doesn't work that way.
No, can it?
There's restrictions and they're there for a reason. So we have to, for us to buy big players, we have to bring in investment, and we need to do all sorts of stuff like increase stadium size and things like that. It's no cut and dry.
So here's a question: given the fact that Gio, Clement, and Beale have lasted about an average of 14 months between them, how long do you give a new manager? Do you know what I mean? Like, are we just going to have the same situation in 12 months' time when we're all calling for somebody to be sacked again? Do the fans need to be patient next season, or can we expect the league championship next season? I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting. But at the end of the day, like, if we can't we're not going to sign 20 players at 10 million each. So I think there has to be a spot of realism and a spot of realistic expectations. But just it's so important this goes right, and it's so important the next managerial appointment is the right one.
Yeah, but you look at even last year. I mean, when we were flying high, and then Dundee came up and Ross County came up, and then just the wheels come off, So we weren't that far away. We were a couple of games away from, stretching the lead and probably even possibly winning the title. But, dropping that Dundee and Ross County game just knocked us for 6. But are we going to win the league next year? It doesn't look like it at the moment. We've got to kind of stabilise ourselves. We've got to start winning games, I think, is the absolute priority. Celtic seem to have the upper hand at the moment. That can change,
A lot can change quickly.
Rodgers could be away, and somebody in the Premier League might come in and get him. They've got a new manager. You just don't know what's going to happen. But certainly, we need some leadership. Certainly at board level, we need leadership, and we need a good manager to come in. I just think the lack of leadership at board level just filters down into the managerial team and the players. It was pretty horrible over the last few weeks just to see what was going on. But that's not just overnight. That's been going on for probably the last 12, 18 months.
Yeah, definitely. But it is. I mean, I know we're a bit kind of doom and gloom tonight, given the result on Saturday, etc. But no, it's exciting, and there will be, players come in, etc. So it is exciting, and it's a fresh start for everyone. I think, as Simon, you said a minute ago, it's definitely needed as well. So it is something to look forward to. But we do have this game on Thursday night, and anything could happen. I started the programme a little bit pessimistic. I'm now, as football happens, a little bit more optimistic now. And we could be staring in the barrel of a quarter final or semi final Europa League in a few weeks' time. Who knows?
True. You're
definitely.
right. We really don't know with football. That's the thing. And Rangers Thursdays, let's just hope they continue. Let's just say because the league and everything else in the season's gone. It's doom and gloom if it isn't. We need to win on Thursday. We need to qualify against Fenerbahce, and it won't be easy.
I think Fenerbahce are missing a few players. I think they've got a few suspensions.
Aye, Fred's out for the first leg.
Aye, who's a good player. So it's one the tie is it's not completely out of our grasp. It's just going to be a hard game. It's going to be a great atmosphere, and it'll be a great atmosphere at Ibrox, I think, as well.
Aye, as long as we're still on the tie, as long as if we're sitting here on Thursday night at 8 o'clock and it's all to play for, we're still on the tie going to Ibrox, and I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, Thursday nights at Ibrox, there's no team will want to play in that. I mean, even Tottenham said that, the atmosphere was electric, So I think if we can get that atmosphere next Thursday when we come back, if we've got an opportunity to win the game still, then I think it could be one of those great nights at Ibrox.
I know, I'm certainly looking forward to it. We'll be doing a wee show before it on Thursday night and then after it as well. Just before we finish, guys, it's good to have you on the show, Davey. I know you were on the channel at Manchester, but do you want to give your supporters club a quick plug and just tell some people about the Perth True Blues?
The Perth True Blues, yes, it's a great supporters club of a full bus every week that go down. Sometimes 2 buses, depending on the games, but it's a good big range of support in Perth. In fact, the Billy bus pick up in Perth as well. So we've got a great kind of group round about this area. Good loyal fans go week in and week out. Several of them are on their way as we speak over to Turkey. So got a great kind of loyal following up in Perth. Good loyal city this.
Where do you leave from if anybody's want to come along and come on the bus?
We leave from it's called the Ballroom. It's a big snooker hall now. Guy who owns is a big Rangers fan. So that's where the bus leaves from now. So anybody interested, they're on a Facebook page, Perth True Blues. So if anybody interested, just let us know.
Fantastic. Guys, anybody want to add anything before we finish?
Not before I leave, just safe travels to everyone going to Thursday. You always do us proud in these European games, so stay safe over in Turkey and do us proud as always.
Yep. Nothing else to add apart for that, aye. Fair enough, aye.
Thanks a lot, guys, for coming on. And just to finish, I'd like to dedicate tonight's show to a friend of mine and an aunts brother that passed away, Kenny Bragg, from the Wirral Rangers Supporters Club. He was a great friend of mine and he passed away due to cancer the other day there. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good night and always remember, win, lose or draw.
We are the people.
We are. Good night.
Good night.
Right.